The Scottsbluff Police Department is keeping busy in the wake of the DEA releasing a report showing a spike in fentanyl and counterfeit pills.
It is something we're seeing around here. We're seizing these items. They're very dangerous. A very small amount of fentanyl can kill a person. If a pill is ingested, there's really no way to retrieve and stop that process. If that person's alone, there's a very high risk that they may not survive the overdose. So it's very dangerous to young people that don't know of these dangers. So getting this information out is imperative.
Captain Brian Wasson warns of the new dangers of popping pills for recreational purposes.
When you did that 10, 15 years ago, there was a pretty good control on pills in the country. There were some prescriptions being abused, certainly, but in this warning that the DEA puts out and what we're seeing on the street, these pills are being produced in non-controlled situations. There's different amounts of dangerous drugs within each pill, and they're not consistent. So if you take a pill one day, you may be okay. You take the same pill that you got from the street or a someone other than a pharmacist, it may not be safe the next day because it's got a higher amount of fentanyl. Methamphetamine, cocaine are also being stamped into these pills, so very dangerous to the community.
Wasson explains why fentanyl is now appearing in these pills.
Well, what's happening is the Mexican cartels are getting chemicals needed for the production of fentanyl from China, and that's detailed in this release by the DEA. It's being pressed into pills probably so that the end user, the consumer, is able to conceal it a little more. If law enforcement pulls over a vehicle and sees a bag of powder, we're immediately suspicious. We may not be as suspicious if we see a pill that appears to be stamped, like I described 5 years ago. There wouldn't have been many nefarious concerns about that pill itself, and that's just totally changed with the way the cartels are packaging the drug now.
And Scottsbluff police officers are seeing these new drugs on a much more frequent basis.
So when we first had started encountering some of the pills, they were fentanyl. Now we're getting pills that are fentanyl and cocaine, fentanyl and methamphetamine. The same with some powders or more traditional forms of the drugs, crystal meth, powdered cocaine or whatnot, containing fentanyl in it as well. And who knows the reasons they're being mixed. Some of it is the old, back cocaine and heroin used to be popular back in the 70s, perhaps, maybe before that. So you have a stimulant and a sedative or something that brings you down a little more. That could be what's occurring as well.
Wasson says 99% of the time, the purchasers are aware that there's fentanyl in these pills, but may not know the deadly consequences of taking them.
And most of the people know exactly what they're buying. So they're purchasing a specific pill because they know that it contains fentanyl in it. It's not like they're all being duped. It's being marketed that way, and they're purchasing it to use it. Fentanyl is an opiate, a very strong opiate. So if someone can't find heroin or is addicted to pills, for their own prescription and run out, they'll seek this fentanyl out to bridge that gap. We will do the best we can to identify the sources of these drugs as well as dispose of any.
In Scottsbluff, Ryan Murphy, KNEB News.